Hello, friendly neighborhood astronomy teacher here, Mr. Newland. I want to tell you, if you're watching this on or before April 8th, 2024, you should be preparing. On that day, the image of the shadow of the moon actually will pass across the Earth for a total solar eclipse, and they are remarkable. And I definitely want to encourage you to make plans now. So you can see that it cuts across a big swath of Texas, including Dallas and Central Texas. There's Waco, there's Killeen, there's Round Rock, Austin. San Marcos is just outside, but you can certainly not you hop right over into that shadow. There's San Antonio, all the way down to the border, and you can see the hill country is right in totality. So what exactly is a solar eclipse? Well, the ecliptic is the path of all of the planets and the sun through the sky for an observer on Earth. The moon is very close to the ecliptic, but the moon is so close to Earth that it wobbles above and below the ecliptic. I can say it. But every once in a while, the moon happens to be in the right phase when it crosses the ecliptic, and that means that it might actually pass in front of the sun. So if this is set for April 8th, 2024, and you can see there's South America, there's the United States, with Texas, our favorite. And I'm going to hit play and let you see how this goes. You can see the shadow crosses over the Earth. And let's go backwards. A total solar eclipse is when the moon is in a new phase for us. You can see this side of the moon is lit up. This is what we think of as the far side of the moon. The near side of the moon, the one that has the Maria and where we landed on the moon, would be dark for us. So this would be the new phase. And you can see that shadow passes over part of the Earth. The shadow comes in two parts. There's the darkest part where literally you'd have totality, but there's also an outer part of the shadow where you can still see a little sliver of the sun. So that would be a partial solar eclipse, and everywhere in the middle of that darkest shadow would be a total solar eclipse. So make yourself ready. Be prepared to travel to this strip of land on April the 8th, 2024 for a total solar eclipse. Okay, that's you've got plenty of warning. All right, have fun. I wanted to show you what the geometry of a total solar eclipse would look like. This is not the one that's going to be in Texas, but this is one from 2006, and I'll show you exactly what this looks like. You can see the moon here. This would be the moon's near side, so it's in the new phase, and there's the surface of the sun. Don't look at the sun without a safety equipment. Ready, go. So you can see the moon, which is half a degree in the sky, and the sun, which is half a degree in the sky. When the moon and the sun both happen to be, when the moon is on the ecliptic at new moon, you can see that it'll partially cover it or totally cover it, depending on how the alignment works for you. But it is a very narrow shadow, so you'd have to be well within the that shadow of the moon to actually see this. Otherwise, what you witness is only part of the sun being cut off. Also, this doesn't happen every month. It wouldn't be nearly as cool. So it's not very common for the Earth's for the ecliptic and the moon's phase and the moon's orbit to all work in such a way to get one of these eclipses. And finally, the strangest kind of an eclipse of all, not a partial like you saw a minute ago or a total like we will be able to see in Texas. This is what's known as an annular eclipse. So the moon is half a degree in the sky and the sun is half a degree in the sky, but the moon's orbit is not perfectly circular. It's actually an ellipse. So there is the possibility that the moon might be in the new phase on the ecliptic, and it also might be farther away from the Earth than it normally is, which means that it's just a little bit less than half a degree, and this is right at half a degree, and you get what's known as an annular eclipse. So let's go, oops, too fast. There we go. And you can see that if I can get it to be exactly right. One more time. There we go, one at a time. Let me go back. There, you'll see that there's actually a ring or an annulus, and that's why it's called an annular eclipse. So that's two ends, by the way, not once a year, but you get an annulus. This, by the way, would still not be safe to look at. A partial solar eclipse and an annular eclipse, any part of the surface of the sun known as the photosphere that's showing could cause permanent eye damage. So don't do that. Don't look at the sun during an eclipse. Even totality, really, you need to be very careful to only look when the entire disk of the sun is covered up and no part of the photosphere is visible. But you can always use these pieces of software to fake it. So there we go. We can have an annular eclipse anytime we want. All right, that's all about the sun and being eclipsed by the moon for now.